Today we'll be learning how to play Hive, the two-player, bug-themed abstract game. To win a game of Hive, you must completely surround your opponent's queen bee while trying to stop them from doing the same to you. Give each player all 11 pieces of a single color, either black or white. Choose a start player. The start player begins by placing any piece in the middle of the table. The second player then chooses any piece and places it adjacent to it. From here, players take turns placing a piece from their supply of bugs into the playing area, also known as the hive. Besides the first two pieces, all future pieces placed into the hive can only touch one of your own pieces. For example, this is fine, but this is not. It's possible to win without using all of your pieces. However, once a piece is placed, it cannot be removed from the hive. At some point between your first and fourth turns, you must place your queen bee into the hive. After your queen bee has been placed, but not before, on your turn you can then choose to either move a piece already in the hive or place a new piece from your supply. Let's cover some general rules about movement before we go over each bug's unique movement rules. First, when moving pieces around the hive, they are allowed to touch your opponent's pieces. You can never move a bug that would break the hive in two or leave a piece unattached to any other. This would also be an illegal move since it would leave the hive temporarily split while the piece is moving. Beginner tip, this rule can be used to lock the opponent's queen bee in place. If you place a bug here, your opponent cannot move their queen bee since it would leave your piece stranded. Bugs can only move in a sliding motion. If a piece is partially surrounded such that it cannot slide out, it cannot be moved. The exception is the grasshopper, which can jump out of its space, and the beetle, which can move up onto other pieces. Similarly, pieces cannot slide into an empty space if it's blocked like this. Lastly, if a player cannot legally place or move an existing piece, play passes back to their opponent who takes another turn. Play continues this way until they can legally place or move a piece, or of course the game ends with their queen bee surrounded. Now let's cover the individual movement rules for each bug, starting with the queen bee. The queen bee can only move one space per turn, but moving your queen bee is essential to disrupting your opponent's plans. The beetle can move one space per turn, however it can also move on top of other pieces. Any piece under the beetle cannot move, and for the purposes of the placement rules, the stack takes on the color of the beetle. From there, the beetle can continue to move one space at a time across the top of the hive. It can also drop into other spaces, even ones that are surrounded. You can also stack a beetle on top of another beetle if you wish. Note, although the beetle can move on top of the hive, it still follows all of the normal placement rules. Next is the grasshopper. It can jump from its space in a straight line over any number of other bugs and land in the first open space. It must jump over at least one bug and cannot jump over open gaps. When moving the spider, it must move 3 spaces, no more, no less. It must move in a continuous path and cannot backtrack. It must stay connected to the hive at all times while moving. Next is the soldier ant. It can move any number of spaces around the hive as long as it follows the other movement rules by not breaking the hive or trying to slide into spaces like this. End of the game. You win the game as soon as your opponent's queen bee is completely surrounded. It can be a combination of both players' pieces. If for some reason the movement of a piece surrounds both queen bees simultaneously, the game ends in a tie. A tie may also be agreed upon by the players in the unlikely event the game results in a stalemate. So that's how you play Hive. If you're looking for other great two-player games, check out our How to Play videos for Skull Hollow and Watergate. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.